Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Cortez Paul with the Balls Not Court Podcast. Oh, it is here. All-Star Weekend. There's a weekend where basketball players around the association are celebrated for their success and their accolades, what they've been doing through the regular season. And it's just a busy week, and it is taking off in New York City. And so I'm going to go ahead and highlight some of the events that's going on. First event what we have going on is the BBVA Rising Star Games presents the USA versus the Worlds. It's the league's annual showcase of premier young talent that will debut a format that puts 10 players, first and second year NBA players from the United States against 10 of the first and second year players around the world. In this game, who you have in this game is for the USA. You have Trey Burke from the Utah Jazz, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope from the Detroit Pistons, Robert Covington from the Philadelphia 76ers, Zach LaVine from the Minnesota Timberwolves, Shabazz Muhammad from the Minnesota Timberwolves, Nerlens Noel from the Philadelphia 76ers, Victor Oladipo from the Orlando Magic, Elfrid Payton from the Orlando Magic, Mason Plumlee from the Brooklyn Nets, and Cody Zeller from the Charlotte Hornets. Michael Carter-Williams is not playing because he has an injury, so therefore Elfrid Payton was the guard that was going to replace him. On the world side, you have Giannis Antetokounmpo for the Milwaukee Bucks. You got Bojan Bogdanovic from the Brooklyn Nets, Matthew Dellavedova from the Cleveland Cavaliers, Gorgie Dean from the Minnesota Timberwolves, Dante Exum from the Utah Jazz, Rudy Gobert from the Utah Jazz, Nikola Mirotic from the Chicago Bulls, Kostas Papanikolaou from the Houston Rockets, Dennis Schroeder from the Atlanta Hawks, and Andrew Wiggins from the Minnesota Timberwolves. Injuries in this game, you have Steven Adams is out, Yusuf Nurkic from the Denver Nuggets is out, and Kelly Olynyk from the Boston Celtics is out. Steven Adams played for the OKC Thunder, if you didn't know that. Head coach for these games, you have Alvin Gentry, who is assistant coach for the Warriors. Kenny Atkinson, who is the assistant coach for the Atlanta Hawks, are the one who will be coaching this game. This game will be on at 9 o'clock tonight on TNT, so make sure you catch that and catch the young talent throughout the NBA. Should be a good one. Then we go on to a busy Saturday. You already know, you NBA fans, that Saturday is probably one of the best days for you to watch if you enjoy all these events and all the other young talent and other old talent that is around the NBA as they participate in many other events, which will also partake in New York City. First event that you do have is the Degree Shooting Stars. Your 2015 participants, Team Bosch. You have Chris Bosch from the Heat, Dominique Wilkins, who is a legend, of course, Swim Cash, who played for the New York Liberty. You got Team Curry, Stephen Curry from the Warriors. His father is going to join him, Del Curry, who is a legend, and Sue Bird from the Seattle Storm. You have Team Millsap, Paul Millsap from the Hawks, who was replacing Anthony Davis. Scottie Pippen, who is a legend, of course, Chicago Bulls legend. And then Elena Del Don from Chicago Sky. Team Westbrook, you have Russell Westbrook from the Oklahoma City Thunder. Anthony, a.k.a. Penny Hardaway. Come on, Magic fans, you know who that guy is. One of my favorite players, personally. Glad to see him, and, well, you already know who I'll be rooting for. He played for the Magic. And you got Tamika Catchings, who played for the Indiana Fever. All right, Bosch, who's an all-star for his 10th consecutive season, Hall of Famer Dominique Wilkins, and four-time WNBA all-star Swim Cash, Latoya Liberty, are seeking a third consecutive Shooting Stars title in a row. They are the back-to-back defending champions of this event. The Degree Shooting Stars include 4 numbered shooting locations of increasing distance, which each team member had to make all shots in numeric order in the fastest time. All 4 teams will compete in the first round, and the 2 teams that in the fastest times advance to the championship round. The team that finishes all 4 shots in the least amount of time in the championship round will be declared the winner. Simple enough. Pretty fun to watch. They have these different spots that they choose where they shoot it from. Self-explanatory. It's always pretty fun to watch and see who can hit that 4th shot, which is a half-court heave. Sometimes they can knock out the 3 other stations real fast. They get down to the 4th station and they're chunking teams away, but you have some that'll nail some right away. So it'd be very interesting to see how this will go. The next event, you have the Taco Bell Skills Challenge. Who's be in this game? You're looking at Patrick Beverley from the Houston Rockets, who was replacing John Wall, Trey Burke of the Utah Jazz, Brandon Knight of the Milwaukee Bucks, Kyle Lowry of the Toronto Raptors, Elfrid Payton of the Orlando Magic. He was replacing Michael Carter-Williams. Dennis Schroeder. He was replacing Jimmy Butler. Dennis Schroeder played for the Atlanta Hawks. Jeff Teague, his teammate, is also going to be participating in this. He's also, as obviously, his teammate is the Atlanta Hawks. And Isaiah Thomas of the Phoenix Suns. Taco Bell Skill Challenge format calls for 2 players to compete simultaneously on an identical course of the fastest finisher of next round. In the first round, the 8 players will be paired in 4 head-to-head competitions, including a new pairing of Beverley and Thomas. The 4 winners advance to the second round, where 2 more head-to-head showdowns will determine the finalists. All right, so as far as this is the skill challenge. You look at the bracket. The first bracket is going to go Isaiah Thomas and John Wall, who is being replaced by Elfrid Payton. Michael Carter-Williams. I'm sorry, I'm going to go ahead and go back to that. Who is replacing John Wall is Patrick Beverley, so it'll be Isaiah Thomas and Patrick Beverley. Michael Carter-Williams, who was supposed to be there, is being replaced by Elfrid Payton, who is facing Jeff Teague. Other bracket, you have Trey Burke and Brandon Knight. Brandon Knight. And then you have Jimmy Butler, who is being replaced. I want to say he's being replaced by Dennis Schroeder. I want to make sure of that. And Kyle Lowry in that bracket. There are so many injuries going on and so many things, so you got to make sure that you highlight who is injured and not crazy that we have this many injuries going to the All-Star break. But that is who will highlight your bracket in the skill challenge. So you go down to 8-4, 4-2, and then they competed out. And then they did add a new shot to this. You have to also hit a 3-point shot at the end of this. They used to have where you have to do a layup. So it's a course that you run the ball, you bounce past, you go through defenders, and it's a pretty fun challenge to watch. It's pretty much highlight those who are taking care of the fundamentals of basketball. If you preach those, that each player will really get it, and you try and get in a quick amount of time, so it's always a fun event to watch. All right. Now the next event where this is supposed to be getting pretty fun here is the Foot Locker 3-point contest. 3-point contest. You have Marco Bellinelli from the San Antonio Spurs, Stephen Curry from the Golden State Warriors, James Harden from the Houston Rockets, Kyrie Irving from the Cleveland Cavaliers, Kyle Korver from the Atlanta Hawks, Wesley Matthews from the Portland Trail Blazers, J.J. Redick from the Los Angeles Clippers, Klay Thompson from the Golden State Warriors. This contest should be pretty fun. You look at the breaking down the field. Just give you some stats. You got Kyle Korver, who is 1 for 49 for 280, shooting 53%, which is unheard of. Which we already heard his true shooting percentage is around 77%. Last time I checked, probably could have taken a dip or took a high of that because, the highs and lows of the season. Klay Thompson is 145 for 325, made 44% of his 3-point shots. J.J. Redick is 114 out of 264, made 43% of his shots. Kyrie Irving, 100 for 245, 40%. Stephen Curry, 147 out of 364, 40%. Wesley Matthews, 115 out of 376, 40%. James Harden, 130 out of 336, 38.7%. Marco Bellinelli, if you want to take his, because he's pretty much, his role is a little bit more of a bench player for the Spurs, and that's why you don't see his attempts is there so much, but he made 39 out of 102, shooting 38%. So you'll see that Wesley Matthews is the one who actually attempted the most threes for 376 threes, and yeah, he made the most out of them, 151. So this contest, it make you wonder who you. This is pretty much saying that this is supposed to be one of the best 3-point contests that we will be able to witness. You have a lot of shooters, and a lot of these guys, you got the Splash Brothers, of course, and Curry and Thompson. You know what they're doing. You also got Wesley Matthews. I done told you about him. You're looking at Cal Korver, who is shooting a true percentage, and he is also propelling his team to success. James Harden is one of the best to do it all isolation. So there's so many type of shooters in this competition that you have to watch, and this may be the best event of the night, fortunately, that you have to see here. So this be a fun contest to watch. The next contest that you have, which finished off the night, of course, is your dunk competition. This is sponsored by Sprite. Sprite Dunk Contest. Your Sprite Dunk Contest, it has Giannis Antetokounmpo from Milwaukee Bucks, Zach LaVine from the Minnesota Timberwolves, Victor Oladipo from the Orlando Magic, Mason Plumlee from the Brooklyn Nets. He is going to be the one who's representing the Nets. Of course, the New York being the host state, or the host, because they're using both of the arenas, the Madison Square Garden, and also they're using the Barclays Center. So I'm pretty sure a lot of fans be rooting for Mason, try to see if he can get a home. As you see, there's a lot of height and range that you get from here. You have both Plumlee and Antetokounmpo, who are both 6'11". Plumlee plays center. Antetokounmpo can play all 4 positions. I mean, all 5 positions if you want to put him at the center. If you want to go small, you can do that with him. He had 52 dunks this season. Mason Plumlee had 80 dunks. You got Victor Oladipo, who is 6'4", with 22 dunks. You got Zach LaVine, who is 6'5", and he had about 17 dunks this season so far. So if you were able to pull up some of the videos, the Balls Life videos, some of the YouTube videos that you have on Zach LaVine, he is being heralded as the favorite in this contest. Rightfully so, because he had pulled off some of the slickest dunks that you have ever seen. You just have to pull it up and see what he can do with some of these dunks, man. What he got is that he's got some flair with the power with Zach LaVine. So it seemed like he would be a favorite as well. Mason Plumlee is one. It's already been said he's probably one of the most athletic guys to be that high in the NBA. So it'd be interesting to see what he can throw down, because we did remember that there was a forward center that was in that who was playing a Magic uniform who won a dunk contest, so he can be creative. Antetokounmpo with his reach, because we know with his reach, his wingspan, it's been said has been near 7 feet. So you have to wonder what he can do with his wingspan in that sense. Can he do something behind the backboard or something with that? So there's a lot of creativity. Of course, they can use this as far what you can do with his length. Now, it's also with the NBA dunk contest, is returning to a classic format. The Sprite Slam Dunk Contest will be a 2-round event in which 4 participants can perform any dunk they choose without time limits. The players will have a maximum of 3 attempts to complete each dunk in both the first and the final round. 5 judges will score every dunk on a scale from 6 to 10, resulting in a high score of 50 and a low score of 30. This should be fun. As far as who I will pick, I'm going to go ahead and pick these guys, make my picks now, and then I'll discuss some of the NBA All-Star Game, which happened on Sunday. USA versus the world is an interesting matchup because you got one, Antetokounmpo, who can guard multiple positions. So if you want to put him on a point guard and everything like that, I know this is an exhibition, but you got to have some pride here. And I think that will make this a little bit more competitive, because now you're putting it USA versus the world's. The world's team is really good because they got Wiggins and Antetokounmpo on the same team. That's going to be a fun team to watch. I like Victor Oladipo and what he can do. Mike Carter-Williams and Victor would have been fun to watch together. Trey Burke, he was pretty interesting last year. He had a pretty good job. Covington, who came on as well this